Stacey Newman here for Heartland. We are in Park City, Utah today to talk to Kevin Costner about his band Modern West. Yes, that Kevin Costner. He's here in town shooting a new project called Yellowstone. He took some time out of his schedule to talk to us about his band, the music, and share some music videos with us. So let's head in and warm up a little bit and check it out. We are here talking to Kevin Costner of the band Modern West. You guys have 6 albums out now. You've been together 12 years. Most people obviously know you from your acting career, and it might be a little known fact that you were actually involved in music earlier than you were an actor. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started with music?
My first introduction to music was the church, the choir. My grandmother was the choir leader. She played the piano. My mom was in the choir with her sister. So I saw every Sunday and saw my mom practice, and ultimately I was trained classically on piano, and I did, you know, musicals, Christian musicals, and you know, so I really loved music. But my parents were, you know, like, that's not how a guy makes a living. You know, my dad was a blue-collar guy out of Oklahoma, had one job, saw his parents lose everything in the Dust Bowl, and he was determined to not ever let that job go, ever. And for the security of his own family. And so in some ways, some of his dreams maybe didn't get completely realized, but he wouldn't let go of that job. He just had a death grip on it. And he provided for his family. And so, you know, was I going to take my musical influence and turn it into some kind of living, even acting? No chance. I was going to probably bang nails. I worked commercial fishing boats in college. That's how I made my money.
Going from acting to songwriting and playing music, they're both storytelling crafts. Do you find that your approach to each of them is different or similar?
I write as much as I can, and most of the songs don't make it. They're not good enough. In our band, they're not good enough. And a few of my songs creep through. But I decide, as you know, I formed the band, and probably the big rule is I break all the ties in Modern West. That's my contribution, and I think I'm pretty good at that. I think letting the cream get to the top, whether it's mine or not.
And you've done a couple movies, right?
Yeah, well, we made a concept record about Hatfield and McCoy's, and a few of our songs snuck into a swing vote. So we wrote a couple songs about NASCAR. And for myself, you know, I make 3-hour movies, so I can't make 3-hour songs. There's an art form to distilling them down, but a lot of times the songs are informed by men and women, which the majority of our songs have to do with relationships. And yeah, we're always playing music. We're always, that's really what we do. I mean, it could be argued we don't know how to do anything else. You know, if people are just now hearing for us for the first time, it shows how inept we are to let people know. But I've never really been inclined to tell people what I'm going to do. I've more or less done it. And we even have a song about that called 90 Miles an Hour. We're gonna play tonight in the club in Park City, and we'll probably play that song. And that's kind of a metaphor for my life, not telling anybody what you're gonna do, just do it, and by the time you're done, people catch up with it, especially your parents, you know, who get so nervous about what you're gonna be in life.
Talking about kind of the inspiration for the songs, where do you find influence musically? Do you have any favorite musical artists that really inspire?
Well, the decade of the 60s was something that just washed over me. You know, you had Motown, you had the Four Seasons, you had the acid groups coming along, you had the Doors, and you had the Beatles and Stones, and then the individual songwriters, Carole King and James Taylor, the duo Simon and Garfunkel's. I was very influenced by the 60s, and consequently, you know, our band we're very tight in our songwriting. We're lyrically driven though, and the melodies come. But orchestrations have always been really important to us. And it's funny too, because we're thinking, well, who are we actually writing for? You know, who are we kidding? But the songs we make, the songs we record, of which there's probably 80 now, 6 records like you mentioned, they all exist. And when I look back at them, I'm not embarrassed by them. I just simply am reminded where I was at in my life when we were making that particular record.
So we're going to be taking a look at your video for Let Me Be the One. Can you give us a little bit of background about that song and the video, maybe?
Well, that song's an old song. We're a 12-year-old band, and that was probably about 2 years into the band. And I think, you know, everybody wants to be the one person in one person's life. And the idea is that shouldn't be that hard. Can't I be the one person in your life? And so Let Me Be the One, it's just really about that. It's about some kind of a, you know, it's a simple idea, but I think everybody can relate to it. And one of the fun things for me when we do Let Me Be the One is sometimes my daughter can meet up with me on the road and we can sing a duet together.
Let me be the name you whisper when you're dreaming in the night. Be the hand you reach for every time you need to hold on tight. The one who's there beside you when the worst of troubles come. Let me be the one.
Let me be the place you hide away when you need somewhere to go. The keeper of your secrets that no one else should know. Be the winding road you head for every time you're on the ride. Let me be the one. Let me be the one. Let me be the one. Forevermore. Let me be a true companion as we're traveling through time. The one who will protect you, not the one who falls behind. I wanna be your hero. I wanna lift you from the flood. I wanna pull you from the fire. I wanna help you rise above. I wanna be the lightning in your eyes. I wanna stand and fight for you. I wanna be the place wherever hearts are true. Let me be the one. Let me be the one. Did you know the way I felt? Or did you just now realize? Did you know what you always wanted when you looked into my eyes?
I promise that I'll love you whatever moments come. Let me be the one. Let me be the one. Let me be the one. Forevermore. Forevermore. Forevermore.
So it was in college that you started acting. What was the first thing that you did?
I did this play, and everybody that loved me came to see me, and I was awful in it. I knew I was bad. I think that's kind of the trick to this game, whether it's music, acting, anything in life, if you know you're bad. And I knew I wasn't very good. I knew I wasn't actually ready, but my desire to be better was stronger than my fear of failing. I knew that storytelling was in me. But I knew there was a discipline, a craft to it, and I had to honor that. And I had to re-educate myself to the thing that I knew I loved, and I thought that's what I wanted to do. But just wanting to do something doesn't mean you're going to necessarily succeed. You can go to college for 8 years, and if you can pass the test, you're going to be a doctor. Whether or not you're a good doctor or a lawyer or something like that remains to be seen. There's no guarantees in the acting game or the music game. If you really love it, you're going to end up with your guitar case open on a street corner because you can't be stopped. And so I wasn't very good in that play, but I thought to myself, I can get better. Now, the fear everybody had was, oh my God, how is he going to do this? But I didn't really care about that. And that was probably the biggest that was the most important move in my life, was to break away from a conservative background, which created my foundation. So I'm proud of my foundation, but in a way it was also almost holding me back because, I could get that language, what makes you think you can do this? I don't know, my heart was telling me I could do it. And when I decided to pursue my future without making the goal line being the important thing, just the idea that I had a sense of direction, that I had put my foot on the yellow brick road of how I was going to go. What the outcome would be was not as important to me as the idea that this is what I wanted to do.
One of my favorite quotes that I'm about to butcher, something along the lines of, everybody sucks at what they're doing when they first start, and it's getting through that, being bad at it.
Well, there's a lot of people that are really good at what they do and haven't had the luck to be seen by people or emerge in a way that they would hope. I feel like I have been lucky. There's work that goes with it. There's a level of discipline and everything else. But to think that I haven't had good luck, blessings, whatever word you want to apply to it, would be ridiculous. I have taken some big bites out of life with the movies, with the music, with everything. But make no mistake, life has taken some really big bites out of me too. And everybody listening maybe and everybody watching understands that we all get bruised. But if I was to take a really, honest look at my life, I've been lucky. I've really been lucky.
You're always traveling, making films. Does the band come to you when you want to play a show?
Yeah, we're kind of a dysfunctional, geographically oriented band. 2 guys are out of Nashville, 3 are out of Tucson, and I'm out of Santa Barbara. And so we trade songs electronically, but often when I'm making a movie, like Hatfield and McCoy's band actually came to Romania. I'm making this thing right now for Paramount called Yellowstone. It's a modern day rancher, and the band has come to me, and we're writing songs, which is kind of one of the interesting things about our band. When we actually go on the road, we're always thinking that we're going to write songs, a bunch of songs, like kids going to camp, if you will, and we never write one. I, however, though, am in the back of the bus after each show when we're going to the next city, writing screenplays. And consequently, when I make movie is when we seem to write all our songs. And I don't know why that is, but it is just the pattern of this band.
Do those songs end up making it out of the soundtracks?
We've written songs good enough to be on the soundtrack. The director will have to pick those. I try to write the theme for Yellowstone. Now, whether that makes it or not, that will really be up to the director. But we're not driven by that. We're still driven by the music. So whether those songs end up in Yellowstone or they end up in an album that's inspired by Yellowstone, that's what we have. So we're not really hamstrung by things. We're not hamstrung by, you know, trying to write a popular song. I think all our songs could be popular. It could be, you know, are worthy, but we're not kind of following anybody. We're kind of, the truth is, we like everybody else's music, and when we make ours, it just sounds like us, you know, and we like our music, but we're not overly impressed. We have a tendency to be inspired and like other people's music. I mean, otherwise you're just kind of a narcissistic bastard if you just love your stuff.
Seems like any artist, their work is not their favorite work.
The songs have to get over a bar. We can write a lot of songs. I can bring a song and it's just not good enough. And somebody else's song is fully mature, or it needs help, or you invite somebody in, like the song I've done about my father the last year, our last hunt together, and I came home and started writing this song, and it made so much sense to everybody else, because everybody else is dealing with the last time with someone they love. Either they've had it or they're gonna have it. And so what happened is, that's actually a really best example of how the band functions. Everybody got in on that song, and it was influenced by a single idea and by where I started, but where it finished up is really universal.
So one of the songs Modern West has done is called Love Shine. Can you give us a little bit of background on that before we watch the video?
Yeah, Love Shine is just a song about the idea of relationships, you know, and everybody has them, and everybody at some point struggles with them, right? Sometimes it gets blurry, sometimes it gets windy, sometimes it gets rough. And you have to try to figure out how to bring this relationship that was somehow formed in love, how to bring it back to center so that you even have a chance. And so we're not smart enough to tell people how to do that, but I think what we focused on was the first step, which is to somehow shut out the noise of the world and put the light on you, and you need to put the light on me. You need to put the light on your partner, and your partner needs to put the light on you. And everything else has to fade away. And if you do that, the chance to get back to where hearts are sacred, to relationships are sacred, I think that's the first step. So Love Shine is simply about putting the light on you, put it on me, the noise of the world needs to go away. And whatever is bugging you needs to go away. Your job needs to go away. You need to get back to center.
You just focus on that.
That's Love Shine.
Yeah, all right, well, let's check it out.
To get caught up in a world full of hurdles, but trying to jump them all's got us running in circles. Time is flying by while we're busy making big plans. Girl, we better slow down before it slips through our hands, 'cause all we need, keep our love shine strong, clear and bright, aiming at me through the day and night. I shine it right back on you, and together we'll have the light to get us to that sacred place where both our hearts belong.
questions for you. One, what is your all-time favorite record?
Oh man, that's really hard. But yeah, I can tell you one. You know, I mentioned, I think earlier in in this interview, me working on fishing boats, and when I was 18 years old and I still didn't know what I would do, and I'd go work on these boats. I'd be out in the ocean at night, and I listened to this one Carole King album, Rhymes and Reasons, and it was like such a lonely time out there on the water, and I was kind of around full-grown men, and I was wondering what I was doing, and her voice was so soothing. But you know, their records have marked my life. You know, I mean, they really have. I mean, it's hard, you know, to single things out like that, because once you put something at the front. You know, people ask me who's the best actor you've ever worked with. You know, who's the, you know, biggest star. You know, I mean, it's like, man, there's so many people that you respect, so many records that you respect. Somehow singling one out. I'm terribly influenced by the music that's going on today. You know, there's been a lot of great music. I think there's a line in Big Chill. You know, there's been a lot of great music since the '60s, but the '60s definitely informed me.
I lied. I said I had 2 questions. I actually have 3. Next one.
Wow. A woman who's changed her mind. Yeah, like that's news.
Well,
kind of sucked me in with the 2 questions, and then it.
You thought you'd be done.
It's right back. Are we on the 3rd question now? How'd that happen?
All right. Well, along the same lines, what is your favorite movie?
Of mine, or favorite movie? Just movie?
In general. Yeah.
Well, there's 2 or 3 that I don't know. I mean, I always loved Cool Hand Luke. I loved. This corny movie. It's not corny to me, but How the West Was Won, it kind of truly informed me. The imagery of westward expansion and the land before there were roads on it, and how men and women made their way, and the conflict that occurred, the injustice of it. You know, there's so many, you know, movies that really affect me. I watch, you know, Great Escape, Spartacus, you know, Giant. You can understand why my movie started to turn into 3 hours.
A lot of that Western influence as well.
Yeah.
All right, real last question. This one probably won't even make the cut for, you know, TV, but you worked on a movie called Stacy's Nights in 1983, or at least it was released in '83. I can't find it anywhere, and my name is Stacy, spelled the same way.
Yeah.
I need to watch this movie.
Yeah.
Any idea where I can find it? And can you tell me any fun stuff about it?
I was a stage manager in Hollywood. It's a very soft movie. Out of it, I read about it in a drama log. I got paid $1,800 or something like that for the whole movie, and I was happy to have the job. And the most important thing about that movie was that the director of that movie I became friends with. I felt he had a lot of character. The writer of that movie was a real child of the '60s, and we became friends. And the 3 of us went on to that movie. It was, you know, was a soft movie. It wasn't, you know, I don't think it, you know, ended up being what we wanted. We did the best we could with it. But the reality was, what came out of that work was that we all won Oscars together on Dances with Wolves. My friend helped produce it. I asked him, the same guy who directed Stacy's Nights, I asked to be my producer. I probably could have had any producer in Hollywood, but I liked the way he behaved. The writer who wrote Stacy's Nights, and it was what it was, kind of soft, ended up writing Dances with Wolves, and I directed it and produced it and actually put a lot of money into it. So we went from this one thing where people might dismiss the work we did. You'll watch it, you'll probably have the same feeling. It's just a, you know, a very effort. It's a first effort as a director. And yet, we thought we could get better too. Just like I thought I could get better in my play. Nobody would have given us a chance, but we thought we could. And we ended up making Dances with Wolves together. And so anybody watching or listening, you understand that you have the chance to get better, and don't let people take that away from you. You know, they might be taking the best time of your life away from you.
So we've got the song Stand Strong. It's a single that's been released from an album you guys haven't even put out yet.
Right.
Can you give us a little bit of background on this one?
Yeah, well, it's called Where the Music Takes You. And Stand Strong is just I think it's influenced a little bit by when we were working on a Hatfield and McCoy's, because you're going to feel a banjo, and it's really good. It's got an Appalachian feel, and it's a really strong song about the idea of standing together, having each other's back, and I think everybody can relate to that. It's a strong song.
Awesome. Well, let's give that a watch.
Sometimes you feel like you're the only one. Clouds turn black and the lightning comes. Won't be the first time, won't be the last. Fear will come, but that too shall pass. When it comes to lives on the line, I got your back and I know you got mine. Bring on the storm, bring on the thunder. Blood is blood. Stand strong with your brother. Bring on the storm, bring on the thunder. Blood is blood. Stand strong with each other. Cold wind and cut you right to the bone. Hot sun burning and the nights are long. When wrong is right and what's right is gone. Hold on, hold on, hold on. When it comes to life on the line, I got your back and I know you got mine. Bring on the storm, bring on the thunder. Blood is blood. Stand strong with your brother. Bring on the storm, bring on the thunder. Blood is blood. Stand strong with each other. When it comes to lives on the line, I got your back and I know you got mine. Bring on the storm, bring on the thunder. Blood is blood. Stand strong with your brother. Bring on the thunder. Blood is blood. Stand strong for each other. Bring on the storm, bring on the thunder. Blood is blood. Stand strong with your brother. Stand strong. Stand strong. Stand strong. Stand strong for each other.
So we've got one more video from you guys today. It's called Turn It On.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about that one?
Well, Turn It On is a little bit interesting because when I told you earlier that we never intended to make a record or tour or whatever it was, we just wanted to play wherever I was making a movie. We made a record called Untold Truths, and it's pretty good. But it was a collection of songs that we had been, working on and knew. And so it was kind of thrown together, and people might enjoy checking out Untold Truth. But when people started paying us to play, asking me to actually leave home and the band and giving us airplane tickets and everything else to come play in front of pretty large crowds, we started to think that maybe we had something here. And Turn It On was the first song that came out of that realization that we were going to get deeper into the water about this. And so Turn It On was kind of a calling card and is the name of the second album we made, Turn It On.
Awesome. Well, let's give it a look.
Well, the sky is alive tonight. The restless fire of a million stars. If you want a sign, open up your eyes. Here we are. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of anything now, baby. Let's take it right down to the bone. Made it this far. Cross your heart with mine and let your light turn on, turn it on. Give me the flash of your wildest storm. Whisper the dream that you can't forget. If you wanna know what life is for, hey, this is it. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of anything now, baby. Let's take it right down to the bone. Made it this far. Cross your heart with mine and let your light turn on, turn it on. Yeah, turn it on, turn it on. Whoa, I'm not afraid of anything now, baby. Let's take it right down to the bone. Made it this far. Cross your heart with mine and let your light turn on, turn it on. My turn it on, turn it on. Oh, baby, turn it on, turn it on. Baby, baby, turn it on and on and on, turn it on.
You've had quite a career for sure. And I think this band is just a wonderful next step. I mean, I know you're still acting as well. Are you guys working on any new albums or anything right now?
We're kind of a mess when it comes to managing ourselves. We never intended to make a record or even be paid for that matter. I just wanted to make movies, make music wherever I was making movies. And 12 years later, the band's still together. We played around the world, the Grand Ole Opry 3 times. We played on different continents, and people still don't know us, so it's a testament to our marketing ability. But it's our songwriting that keeps bringing us back together. We've got a record done. It's called Where the Music Takes You. 2 of our songs have made it onto iTunes and people, whatever, from that album, but we haven't released that album. And we're currently in the throes of writing songs right now, and some of them even related to Yellowstone, the thing I'm working on. You know, at the very core, we've made music that we hope stands and reflects the moments and times as we're living our life. And I don't think my life's any different than anybody else. And I want to take away this fame thing and the money thing that goes with stuff. I understand what that is, but it's not how I live my life. It's not what I think about until somebody else brings it up. My life is still about Friday night, I got 2 little boys playing flag football, and I got to figure out how to get a plane from Park City to see that, because that's what's really important to me. And my little girl the next day will be doing gymnastic, and she's got that little outfit that she's never going to ever be able to wear again, and I need to see it. And if you don't think that's what my life's about, then you're not giving me credit for we're really the same. And that's what you know. And so when we make music, I hope people understand that the problems that I have, the good things that I have, are things that I think in a way they could all feel too. So I hope they check out Modern West.
Anything else you just want to tell us for fun?
For fun?
Yeah.
I don't kiss and tell or anything for fun.
Got any good jokes?
Any good jokes? I don't have any good jokes. You know, probably the worst thing that happened to me where this band was concerned was when we had to pick a name. It was a really horrible moment. But we had to do it because people were starting to pay us. And we had this long list of names. And I thought, do we really have to do this? Because this is horrible. These names are horrible. And I'm not even sure Modern West is a very good name, but I picked that. That was my creative impulse. And I realized it wasn't that great. But the band picked Kevin Costner and Modern West. So that was not my fault, but the band felt in the early stages of things if they didn't use my name. So I apologize for it saying Kevin Costner and Modern West, because it's exactly the opposite. The truth is, I need the band. I have such great songwriter friends in this band, and this band wouldn't work without them. I'm not good enough to do this on my own. We would never be the band we are without them. I know it, and that's what I'm good at, knowing what I'm not good at. And I've loved making music with them, and the same guys are together 12 years later.
Well, for what it's worth, I think it's a good band name.
You could think of a band name?
No, I think it's a great band name.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You know why I keep asking the questions over that you asked me? Because the music is so loud, I'm like deaf.
Gotta get earplugs for the shows.
Thanks.
All right, Kevin, thank you. It's been lovely talking to you.